NTA International News.
Christmas in the air. NTA FRCN VON 2016 service of 9 lessons and Christmas carols holds in Abuja. In the spirit of Maulud Nabi, Muslims urged to imbibe injunctions of Prophet Muhammad. And prayers offered for President Buhari as he marks 500 days in office. Hello there, it's good to have you join us on the news on NTA International. I am Shegun Lawale. The essence of Christmas was brought to fore at the 2016 service of 9 lessons and Christmas carols held at the National Christian Center, Abuja. The service featured praise worship, rendition of hymns, and carols. Christians and Nigerians were also reminded of the significance of the birth of Jesus Christ to the world, which is a demonstration of God's love to mankind as encapsulated in the 9 lessons. The 9 lessons and Christmas carols was organized by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and the Voice of Nigeria, VON. The service was attended by prominent Nigerians as well as members of other faiths. The moderator, Synod of the North Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Reverend Ine Upo, has called all Nigerians to be genuinely committed to God so that he can mold them into useful citizens and agents of change that the nation is looking for. He stated this at the All Presbyterian Conference 2016 in Abuja. Correspondent Ifeanyi Zumba reports.
The conference tagged Sanctified Vessel was an opportunity to give members information to enable them survive these trying times. Reverend Ukboho, taking his text from the book of 2 Timothy, emphasized the need for Christians to make themselves a vessel of honor unto God.
The believer has to be useful in the hands of God to impact our world, to impact our nation.
To live by the principles that Jesus himself taught. That is the only way we can make a difference.
Leaders should continue to put their trust in God. God has not abandoned us. If we use our resources wisely, this country will be a great place.
The special prayers for continued peace and stability in the country. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Zumba, NTA News.
Still on religious matters, special prayers for Nigeria and its leadership have been offered by the Muslim Ummah, seeking Allah's guidance and protection for President Muhammadu Buhari. It is in his efforts to steer the country out of recent economic recession, fight corruption, and other crimes against humanity. Correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports that the prayer session, which coincided with President Buhari's 500 days in office, was held at the Jumat Full Isola headquarters with a special focus on effects of corruption on the country's socio-economic development.
Recitation from the Holy Quran by Sheikh Ahmad Adam and its commentary by Sheikh Kabiru Haruna Gombe formed part of the prayer session. It was to create awareness on the dangers of corruption and the need for all to support efforts towards fighting the menace.
It's in order to create awareness within Nigerians for the forwardness and development of the country, which is our motherland. We don't have any country apart from Nigeria.
Some people say seeking refuge from Allah is the only solution to save Nigeria from its present socio-economic challenges.
We should double our efforts toward prayers for the entity of Nigeria. Whoever got leadership, what he's always expecting his followers, they should be patient.
We need Nigerians to continue praying for our dear president because he meant well for everybody.
Anybody who knows, understands the challenges of this country, knows that the president needs prayers and the country needs prayers.
They also called on Nigerians, irrespective of their religious leanings, to stick to the tenets of the Holy Scriptures in order to secure a better future for the nation. Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Senate President Bukola Saraki has urged Muslims to imbibe injunctions of Prophet Muhammad, which teaches humility, gratitude, and charity towards one another. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Yusuf Olaniyonu, Saraki, who made a call in a message to mark this year's birthday of Prophet Muhammad, urged Nigerians, irrespective of their faith, to use the Eid al-Mawlud to practice Prophet Muhammad's precepts of piety, tolerance, justice, and peaceful coexistence within their communities in the collective efforts to overcome the current national challenges. He said with the current economic hardship in the country, there is no better time in applying the teachings of the Holy Prophet on how to live a life of simplicity, charity, and lending a helping hand to the needy in our midst. The Senate President said the occasion also offers faithful and Nigerians the opportunity to redouble their efforts in assisting hundreds of internally displaced persons in the Northeast to enable them live normal lives. And similarly, Speaker House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has felicitated with the Muslim Ummah on the occasion of the 2016 Eid al-Mawlud to mark the celebration of the birth of Prophet Muhammad. In a statement by his special advisor on media and public affairs, Turaki Hassan, the Speaker charged the Muslim faithful to use the occasion of the remembrance and celebration of the birth of Prophet Muhammad to imbibe and promote the virtues of humility, love, peace, progress, and mutual coexistence, which the Prophet exemplified. He noted that this year's Eid al-Mawlud comes just a couple of weeks before the end of the year 2016. Muslims and all Nigerians should use the opportunity to offer special prayers for unity, peace, and prosperity of Nigeria and for the country to overcome its current economic challenges as it marches into the new year. The Speaker enjoins Nigerians to put the past behind them and forge a new path of greatness and prosperity. Maulud Nabi is a special period that calls for sober reflections and special prayers to Almighty for leaders at all levels for God's wisdom and guidance. The federal government has been urged to support the enactment of a Buy Nigerian Act to grow the Naira in order to stimulate the economy. This was the position of participants at the Scorecard Leadership Magazine, an annual lecture and award night held in Abuja. Chukunonso Wabueze reports.
Nigeria, just like other monoproduct economies of the world, is faced with one of its worst economic challenges, largely due to the fall in the prices of its main source of revenue, the oil. To find a way out of this, these Nigerians from different parts of the country converged on Abuja, the nation's capital city, to share positive ideas that will complement the federal government's efforts at diversifying the economy. Speaking on Nigeria's economic recession and policy options going forward, guest lecturer and associate professor of banking and finance, Uche Owaleke, railed out options he believes, if taken, will revive the country's economy, one of which includes a downward review of the interest rate.
We don't have to say because what attract foreign investors, we are raising an interest rate. It is harming businesses. It is also making the cost of government borrowing more expensive. It is also making the banks are having high non-performing loans because interest rates are high.
At independence, we relied on one commodity, agriculture, cocoa, palm oil, granules. When oil came, we forgot about it. Nigeria is in recession now. Why? Because there's no cushion.
We have so many things that can build back Nigeria. We have farming, we have science and technology, as I said. We have enterprising, we can be very creative. I know the youth will not fail Nigeria.
There was presentation of awards to some Nigerians for their contribution towards national development.
We must respect ideas, we must encourage ideas, we must go away from this thing of thinking that because you have expressed an opinion that is contrary to mine, therefore you are an enemy.
So what I want to do, or what I want to see people doing is, wherever you are, wherever you may be, the little that comes to your hand, share it to others that are needy.
The Scorecard Leadership Annual Lecture and Award Night is the first in the series. In Abuja, Chukunonsonwa Bueze, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll reach you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. There'll be more news after the break. Stay with us.
Hear the call of change, stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogeruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the You Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thanks for joining us again. The National Emergency Management Agency has confirmed an explosion in Maiduguri near Monday Market early Sunday morning. The explosive was to be detonated by male and female suicide bombers. The statement by the agency says only the suicide bombers lost their lives, while 17 persons were injured and evacuated to a specialist hospital in Maiduguri. Meanwhile, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima has summoned officials of all markets, motor parks, shopping complexes, football fields, and other places of public gatherings in Maiduguri for an emergency security meeting with heads of security agencies and the civilian JTF. The meeting, which is expected to take place on Monday at the government house in Maiduguri, was in response to twin suicide attacks at the Maiduguri Monday Market this Sunday, which resulted in the death of one and 18 persons sustaining various degrees of injuries. Governor Shettima visited the scene of the suicide attack around the market and was at the accident and emergency ward of the Maiduguri Specialist Hospital, where he met each of the survivors, out of which 3 were undergoing emergency surgery at the hospital's theater. The suicide attacks were carried out by 2 women in close spots, both outside the Maiduguri Monday Market before 10 a.m., said the Borno State Commissioner of Police Damian Chukwu, who received Shettima at the scene. The Boko Haram insurgents had repeatedly targeted the Maiduguri Monday Market using persons who conceal bombs and pretend to be buyers of goods, targeting traders and customers before blowing themselves up. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has reiterated his commitment to place more emphasis on capacity building and an improved welfare for his personnel for effective discharge of their duties. This was at the operational visit to the headquarters 63 Nigerian Air Force Detachment in Ibadan. Olajide Bello reports.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, made an on-the-spot assessment of facilities at the headquarters 53 Nigerian Air Force Detachment, from where he proceeded to the government house, where he was received by the Oyo State Governor, Abiola Ajimobi.
I want to appeal to His Excellency, the landed property we have here in Ibadan. We can have the titles for this land so that we can have the confidence to really come in and start building accommodation for our airmen and airwomen.
He lauded the state government for its support towards the smooth operations of the Nigerian Air Force detachment, reiterating their resolve to live up to its mandate in the state. Commending the Nigerian Air Force and other armed forces for its gallantry at restoring peace in the northeast, Governor Abiola Ajimobi said the state will continue to partner with security agencies to entrench peace for sustainable growth and development.
I believe that any other development is premised on having security of lives and property.
Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar also visited the headquarters Air Force Comprehensive School on an inspection tour.
We have identified those challenges and I promised them that we are going to address these challenges so that we can have a better school for our personnel.
The visit is the first since the Chief of Air Staff assumed office. From Ibadan, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Time to take another break. The news returns shortly. Thanks for joining us. The negative impact of climate change on Nigeria has over the years been taking its toll on food production, agriculture, and water supply nationwide. It is based on this that the Director General Nigerian Meteorological Agency challenged the academic community and researchers to come up with strategy and solution that would further mitigate the environmental challenges. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
Despite the fact that Nigeria's contribution to the global warming remains insignificant, the country is, however, ranked the third most vulnerable in the world. This impact was said to be responsible for the gradual drying up of Lake Chad, dwindling rain pattern, and flooding in coastal region. The Director General, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, Dr. Anthony Anuforum, said the change in weather pattern requires decisive and coordinated action. The Director General was speaking at Enugu University of Science and Technology Forum on weather, observation, modeling, and forecasting for managing climate change.
Nigeria, by 2015, is ranking side by side, ranking pari passu with Southern Sudan as the number 3 most vulnerable. Now, what is the antidote? The antidote is what we are preaching. We must pay attention to the use of climate information, science-based climate information. Build them into policy making, build them into planning programs, build them into planning projects for government.
So I think anything that we can do to support this very agency, I'm sure those who are still in service will do that legislatively.
The university's management appeals for the establishment of Weather Observation Center in the institution. From Enugu, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to be their brothers' keepers and stand up for the rights of the vulnerable ones in the society. A cross-section of Nigerians stressed the need for stakeholders to complement efforts of the National Human Rights Commission as the nation marks a hallmark in improved human rights positively following its re-accreditation to A status by UN agency. Abdul Fattah Adejino reports.
December 10 every year has been set aside as International Human Rights Day to honor the United Nations General Assembly's adoption and proclamation on December 10, 1948 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Acting Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, Mrs.